So, hey guys, Chauzu here. So this is going to be my deep dive into the upcoming Luffy and Yamato Super Fest exclusive for the 9th anniversary of One Piece Treasure Cruise. And I'll say that after thinking more about this unit, after getting the actual full info with the data download, this is like the ultimate on one hand, on the other hand, and then you go back and forth like it's an amazing unit in this aspect, but in this aspect it's kind of mid, but this is incredibly good, but this is pretty annoying, and you can go back and forth, and I will probably do it in this video as well. So obviously the initial disappointment update this has subsided a bit, but some of the things we were disappointed about will come up in discussion here, like we have so many Luffy, we have so many Yamato, so even if this unit is very good, it will be hard to fit on certain types of comps, but it's definitely a strong legend that you want to own. But the question of course is will they be more worth than what is to come? Maybe a Super Fest Sanji, Super Fest Zoro. We also don't have the rush mechanic yet, so there's a lot to consider before pulling for this legend. So let's go into the full information. And here we go. Luffy and Yamato, Free Spirit Striker. At least in duo form, as we'll see here, Luffy himself is actually Free Spirit Fighter Strength. So only Luffy is fighter, every other form is Free Spirit Striker. That can be both good and bad, but like realistically, mostly you'll build Free Spirit Striker focused team, so Luffy not being Striker is annoying, but on the other hand, it does allow him to fit into some other comps. But on the other hand, fighter is the by far worst class in the game, so it's not like it adds much. I have already started on the one hand, on the other hand, yeah, there'll be a lot of that. But yeah, and Yamato is Free Spirit and Striker. They have a final tap, they have slot bind, they have pinch healing. So the first thing you notice here is that they do not have the double special that I hypothesized, and I'm actually very sad about that. Like, they did find a workaround around it. It was a workaround that a lot of you predicted, like shoutouts to that, credit where credit is due. But I will maintain that double special will have made this unit a completely different one in terms of viability. And we can discuss that a bit more later. But one thing to note with this unit is that you have to keep track of what every form does. Like, you need to keep in mind that the special changes in duo form. You have to keep in mind that Luffy himself has a unique captain, Yamato has a unique captain. So let's start with Luffy himself, his captain ability. Like, they are very similar, but there's a key difference between them. But yeah, Luffy, Strength, Dex and Quick, -2 CD. Free Spirit and Fighter gets a further -1. Okay, that's actually pretty big. I hadn't noticed that. So this means that depending on who you lead with, you get different CD reductions, and this can actually mess up a bit depending on how you want to super swap, because I presume Yamato will reduce Free Spirit and Striker. So it actually matters who you start with for CD reduction. That's actually really dumb, because in the duo form, it does say that it reduces Free Spirit, Striker, and Fighter, but obviously you will never start in duo form, so that doesn't apply. So already there we have a bit of a negative, because let's say you build a Free Spirit Striker team and you want to get that full CD reduction. You're basically forced to start on Yamato to get that for Strikers, but then you are forced to super swap into Strength. So you don't have the flexibility you usually have with a duo unit. But anyway, let's continue reading. Boost HP by 1.3 times, boost Strength and Free Spirit carriers by 5 times. I'm actually shocked now. So Luffy only boosts strength and free spirit. And Yamato boosts dex and free spirit. And in duo form, they boost strength, dex, quick, and free spirit. So like the duo form makes them look a lot stronger than they are. Like, oh, 3 colors, but yeah, it only buffs 1. Like, honestly, when I looked at the solo forms, I mainly looked at the bottom. I didn't pay attention to the top. But yeah, this is actually huge revelations to me. Like this, again, like recontextualizes the unit into being mainly a free spirit unit. Like you can't even build perfect mono strength teams or mono dex teams because once you swap, you lose all buffs if they aren't free spirit. Like this is actually a huge blow to their viability in general. Luckily, free spirit is the best class in the game, so you can work around it pretty good, but still. And of course, you do have that baseline 4.5 times attack, so it's not the end of the world, but of course 4.5 times attack is miles away from the 6 times when you eventually reach the duo form. Makes crew strength, dex, recovery, Thanos slots, and matching slot effect, so that's same as in the duo form. You can obtain recovery slots with perfect taps, reduces bind by 10 turns, and here's the big deal here. And when you are in Luffy form, you reduce the switch effect by 1 when you defeat an enemy. Or Luffy himself has to defeat, so it doesn't matter if anybody else defeats like a turtle or something. Luffy has to defeat, then you get a C reduction. So obviously it's very good to have some way to speed up the super swap since it's 8 turns and kind of essential to the kit. And it's interesting because Yamato does not work the same way. Like everything is basically the same, but what Yamato needs to do to increase the super swap is to receive damage. So Luffy deals damage, Yamato receives damage. This is both good and bad. I'd say for speedrunning purposes bad because if you speedrun, you could just swap every turn to help build the gauge, and then you could kill one enemy. That way you max the gauge in 4 turns. That's impossible now because if you swap, then you can't kill. You have to take damage, and sometimes you can actually take damage, but if we take like a Super Boss Kizuna or just a Arena or whatever, there is sometimes RNG to the countdowns. It's not like you can reliably take the damage. So it's just needless busy-work. So even if this is interesting, the unit would probably be better if it was just deal damage or defeat enemies. On the other hand, as I said, one hand, other hand, for Super Boss Kizuna, like maybe this is the better solution overall. If you want to get the switch gauge maxed. But at the same time, if you abuse the bug stall, you can always guarantee you get the super swap maxed. Yeah, I think we spent enough time talking about the captain ability. But of course, in duo form, you do get the extra strength dex quick. Also get 6 times attack boost. And you also have the basically the 6 time attacks, but that's a pretty big deal. But as I've said before, it's not as big deal as it sounds. Like it's really good, but it would have been different if it was 6 times attack boost and you have access to super class or super type, because that adds a ton of extra damage. There's a reason that the only super high attack boost we have as captains are duo and versus units, because they don't have that extra benefit of extra damage. So this is basically a way to compensate for that. So yeah, it's definitely a good captain ability. Nice mix of everything, utility of various kinds, speedrun, big damage, and unique ability in getting the super swap easier. But again, I just preferred if it was double special. But yeah, as for the special, here we also have to look at different units. If you use Luffy or Yamato special, you get the bad version, which is -1 CD, strength, dex, and quick 3 times ore boost. And this just annoys me because this unit is basically built to be free spirit, strength, dex, quick, but here ore boost is color. But later you'll see that the swap for color affinity is free spirit. So it's a very weird random mix of when you get what, instead of like just being coherent, like strength, dex, quick, free spirit, everything. But it's not. So it's just a bit weird. Anyway, 60% damage reduction, adjacent slots to recovery. So recovery and not Wano for the weak special. Increased damage taken 1.75 times for 1 turn. And that doesn't go through full immunity. And you can also extend attack boost, ore boost, and chain locks if you have ore boost and damage reduction, which you'd have if you used their special. And dual form for 3 turns. But if you use the better special, which is what you will want to be using in general, just double check Yamato doesn't get something else. Nope. You get this special. -2 CD, strength, dex, quick characters, 3.25 times ore boost for 2 turns, 80% damage reduction, change the adjacent slots to Wano, not through block though. Increased damage taken by 2 times, through full immunity, which is amazing of course. And the extension is the same as the weaker special. But yeah, this obviously makes the unit a lot better, a lot higher ore boost. You actually can get 1 orbs. The increased damage taken is probably the biggest deal of this kit, really good. You also get the damage reduction, which you can take advantage with the final tap potentially. But yeah, this is basically the special you want to use. But of course it's not easy to get this to his special because somehow you need to be in duo form to get access to this. And the way you're supposed to do that is by using the super swap. Let's just review this normal swap first. You remove character's paralysis, the spare slot bind, change his own slot through block to Wano, and free spirit gets a 1.5 times color affinity boost. That's what I said, like swap, free spirit, but special, strength, dex, quick. Just weird. And this one can be overwritten with better color affinity boosts. And of course, I talked about it would be cool if you had like specials that if you have color affinity, you get an attack boost, then you get both color affinity and attack boost with this mechanic. But I've looked around and there doesn't really seem to be any unit like that right now, but could probably happen in the future. One thing to note here is that this unit removes slot bind with the swap very easily, but has slot bind as a potential ability. Such a waste, should have been double special. Even with this exact kit, could have still been double special, just because then you also have the option of self-triggering the weaker special to extend the buffs you use. Like this unit will have been a lot more cool in many ways. You could have used the unit in very different ways and will still not be broken, I'd say. But obviously not the route they took, but it's just disappointing because it has some good potential. But yeah, super swap basically the same. It's just that you get a bigger color affinity buff for free spirit 2.5 times. That can't be removed, not that you'd want to remove it. And of course, with this super swap, you do become the duo unit. So the plan is that you set up so that for final stage, you can super swap to get that big color affinity. And of course, you try and make use of the solo unit's captain ability to maximize the amount of turns you need to spend. Like you want to spend as few as possible. So you want to kill with Luffy, take damage as Yamato to speed the process up. And then use their special, you get the Wano orbs, you get the increased damage taken, you get the ore boost, and just go ham with that. So that's the game plan, which is pretty strong, but I also feel like it's a lot of busy work, and the question is the unit worth all of this work? In normal content, not really. For like Super Boss Kizuna, maybe. Like as I said, there's a lot of competition for slots as well. But one thing I want to note though is that this unit is kind of designed to be captain, which is kind of weird considering the special gives adjacent orbs. And adjacent is very bad for captains because as a sub you can put the sub in the middle and you have a guaranteed 3 orbs you can change, but captains can only change 2. So that's already a big minus. We go from getting 3 Wano orbs to just 2 as captain. Big blow in my opinion. So I'm definitely not sold on the kit. I will definitely get the unit since it's a Super Sugo and everything, but definitely a flawed unit, definitely not a must-pull unit in my opinion. You should, if you don't have a lot of games, you should definitely wait and see what more is on the table later. Sailors are pretty meh. Extra attack, 10 recovery matching, which is fine, but lots of way to get them matching. And guess we should talk about the final tap. When I first saw it, I thought it would be amazing since you needed 3 specific units, but it's good, but not amazing. You get 2000 extra base attack, and you get the damage reduction attack boost, which is nice since you get a big damage reduction with the special. But of course, unlike versus Yamato, this is only for the final tap, which Luffy Yamato does. So it can be worth in certain circumstances, but in general, this is not something you need in like almost any scenario for this unit. More often they will be part of a super tandem chain than hitting last. So don't feel bad about missing out on the final tap. I've talked a long time, but let's look at some potential partners. I've not prepared a lot this time, thankfully. But yeah, we can talk a bit about Super Boss first. This is like a potential team you could use. And if you use a team like this, you could actually aim for the final tap as well. Not that it will be the best, since we have versus Yamato, which already handles the damage reduction attack boost. But at least we get a bigger damage reduction attack boost due to our bigger damage reduction in special. We also had the potential of using Luffy Yamato in Nami's Super Tandem and maybe hitting with Robin final tap. Like it's possible, depends on the boss of course. But yeah, we'll have a lot of damage with this team, like versus Yamato handles attack boost, Luffy Yamato ore boost, increased damage taken. We also get their color affinity from Super Swap, which is nice here since this is basically just free spirit. Nami and Robin with the conditionals, Perospero a big chain boundary, Zoro with all the other chain buffs. Like, yeah, this is going to hit very hard. So something like this could be an option for Super Boss, just something I threw together. But yeah, I think that Luffy and Yamato will be very strong there, for sure. And then just some other general partners. I mostly put speedrun stuff here, like Cat Dog, like just one of the best speedruns in general. Classes match up pretty well. The Sabos are pretty cool, both the 6+ and 6-star. Like the 6+ has the special reverse with level limit break, which I've not gotten yet. Resist special reverse, the 6-star resist special bind. And they share like the colors and classes needed, so It's an interesting potential hybrid, and they do handle the attack boost, which Yamato and Ace don't. Yamato Luffy don't. There's too many Yamato. Sugar, another potential speedrunning unit. Also not Free Spirit, or Striker, which could be interesting to experiment with. And then I just put Law, because I actually had a hard time finding potential fun units to hybrid up with. One very fun one is Kaido though, because then you can kind of use them as intended somehow. Like, let's say stage 4 of an arena, we use Luffy Yamato, then we use Kaido. Kaido brings back Luffy Yamato special since they are also Striker. Then for final stage, we are in duo form, and we also get the special back, so we can use the special in duo form without the super swap, which is a fun meme idea I'll definitely try out. Not saying it's good, but it sounds very fun. So that's just some initial ideas I had. Honestly, this is not a unit that makes me surge with creativity so far, but we'll see what I do when I actually get my hands on it. Let's just talk a bit PvP, of course, since this might be the strongest part of this unit, the PvP abilities. And yeah, it's hard to say where to start, but we jump into the Rumble ability. Like Odin and Toki, it's a bit of a rainbow PvP unit. Attack up level 5, def up level 5, and Free Spirit gets some bonuses, critical up level 6, speed up level 6. And after 50 seconds of battle, team special CT speed up level 3. So yeah, this actually feels basically rainbow, like the Free Spirit specific stuff is not that super important. Like I've talked about recently, that speed isn't bad, but it's still the least important normal stat. I don't count critical up as normal, by the way. And yeah, you get the attack up and def up, which is probably the two most important. It's hard to say which is more important than attack and def. But that def up very nice, and getting that speed up in the last 50 seconds is a very nice bonus. So Rumble ability does not hold them back. Special. All enemies for attack 3.5 times damage. And that's just a dream to see, like no RNG at all. Amazing, and a good amount of damage too. After 50 seconds, you do 3.5 times damage again. And you also target one high def enemy ignoring defense for 2 times damage. So that's basically a near guaranteed kill, I'd say. And I don't think that's after 50 seconds. That should be all the time. But I might be mistaken about that. Sometimes it can be hard to read these. So yeah, only with this info, this looks like a top tier PvP unit. But it doesn't stop there actually, because they have a unique resistance where they can't get half stats. Like, that's just insane. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Bandai are tired of Moria still being relevant in 2023, but maybe his days are coming to an end. But yeah, half stats are incredibly dumb in general. So I don't mind if they start putting in counters to it. So it would definitely be interesting. Like, this is probably like a top 2 PvP unit together with Roger Whitebeard, and funnily they are both Striker, so potentially both could be on the same team. Like maybe Striker is the new meta team, like they can kind of already are the best team in some ways. Or maybe we have a revival with Free Spirit, but the problem with Free Spirit, of course, is that there's a lot of good Yamato and Luffy, but if you use this, you can't use any others. So yeah, I'm more inclined on the Striker route than for this unit. Will be interesting to see, but it might end up being so that you don't face Striker teams in general, because yeah, how do you beat them with like this and Roger Whitebeard? Like, yeah, it's a bit much. GP stats are not that impressive, I'd say. Free Spirit and Striker mainly. And sure, the buffs are pretty decent, but and like it's possible, of course, to build teams with this, potentially even 3, but these units usually live and die by the burst. It's already pretty meh at the start. 9 full attacks. Full attacks not reliable and usually take some time. And realistically, you're not going to be able to hit 9 full attacks twice. So it says 2 times, but let's read it as 1 time. Targets all enemies for leader base attack times 4 damage 2 times. That's actually a lot of damage. Targets teammates with remaining HP 50% or below for attack up level 8, death up level 8. So yeah, the actual burst itself is not bad, but I say that the condition is not consistent enough, and the skill itself, while good classes, is still just 2, and you need to build 3 teams. So it's definitely not the worst GP unit, but not as exciting as Odin and Toki, and Radio will still reign supreme, I'd say. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Let me know if you're excited to pull Luffy and Yamato this weekend down below. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.